and 107.5 FM is the #1 talk radio station in Salina, featuring Coffee Talk in the mornings with Sean Hannity and Mark Levin in the afternoons. KINA is your stadium for the world champion Kansas City Chiefs and the home of Southeast of Saline sports. Local news, sports, and talk, KINA, 910 AM and 107.5 FM.
94.5 FM KG Prime is Salina's favorite classic pop hit station. Playing all the songs you love from the 80s and 90s, Prime is the at-work station you listen to all day long. Playing the greatest hits on earth. 94.5 Prime FM.
99 FM KSKG is the #1 station in Salina and Manhattan. Home to Bobby Bones in the morning and afternoons with Shane McClintock. 99 KG delivers the best of today's hot country with concerts, contests, and 40-minute music sweeps every hour. 99 KG is Central Kansas's home for new country.
97.5 FM KJCK is Central Kansas's station for all the hits. The most hit music every hour to get you through your day. Power Hits 97.5 is a highly rated top 40 station playing today's best music, serving Salina with the perfect blend of current hits. All the hits, all the time. Power Hits 97.5.
SalinaPost.com is Salina's #1 news source. Our local news team has their fingers on the pulse of the city, breaking important stories impacting our community. Salina Post is also your home for live streaming local sports. Your 24/7 local news leader, SalinaPost.com.
Eagle Radio Salina is more than just your favorite radio stations. We are your creative partner for the web. We can craft digital marketing plans unique to your needs. Our creative team creates amazing digital ads for the web. We also offer outstanding video production for your website, YouTube, Facebook, Hulu, and more. Let our Eagle team help you soar. Discover the power of today's radio and digital platforms.
Think about the word precision. Precision is being exact and accurate. Isn't that what you want when it comes to electrical? Precision Electric in Salina brings exact and accurate quality to electrical jobs in central Kansas since 2003. Precision Electric's focus on quality and performance, combined with their experience and dedication, creates a winning set of finished products which saves their customers money. Precision Electrical Contractors is looking for licensed journeyman electricians as well as apprentice electricians. Apply online at pecsalina.com.
Happy Tuesday. Welcome into AJ's in the Alley. We're in downtown Salina, where it is not only $2 Tuesday on the Family Fun Night with bowling, laser tag, video games, all the good stuff right here at AJ's in the Alley, our favorite sports bar in downtown Salina. It's the Coach O Show on another Victory Tuesday. Oh, yeah. 2 in a row now for the Salina Liberty. And, boy, a really, really interesting game that we're going to kind of unpack here that you had in Wichita on Saturday night. But, man, just how was your weekend for you? I know a lot of moving parts. Breaking news as we are getting ready to do this show live here at AJ's in the Alley, and some stuff that we'll talk about, some stuff that we really don't know yet. But, man, just a lot of things going on. How was your weekend?
It was good. Anytime you can get a win, especially on the road, those are things that are not easily done against a good Wichita team. They played tough. They played really well. Yeah. It's kind of hard to prepare with some of the late additions that they put on their roster to prepare exactly where we wanted to. But I think we did a pretty good job coaches-wise as far as putting a pretty good scheme out there for them, for our players to do the things that we needed to do to get the win. I was very, very impressed with our kicking game. Aiden did his thing out there, and it's finally we have a kicker that can hit the net every single time and even get our first deuce or uno, whatever they call it. He got one of those as well, and I think he hit every one of his extra points. Yeah. That was something I took away from the game that I was extremely excited about. I was also excited about Shai, who came in first game with us and creating pressure all over this place from 2 different positions at defensive end and linebacker. So some of our new additions, and Ja'Cory is another one. They just call him 12. That's what they call him. So definitely very excited about his future as well, and the things that he brought forth on the table. And our longest scoring touchdown play with him, 48 yards on that bomb that he caught, and he had 5-6 yards of separation. And it was just good to see the play of Charles McCullum as well. So I had a lot of smiles leaving that game. Woke up Sunday with a whole different attitude of the things that we need to get better with, and I know my coaching staff wasn't too happy with me contacting them at 8:30, 9 o'clock, and having a 3-hour meeting on their day off. I know they wasn't happy, but it's time to step it up, and the only way you can step it up is you got to lead by example. And I was up at 5 or 6 o'clock in that morning thinking of the things that we need to do, and that's what I thank my coaching staff for bearing with me, because I know we won 2 in a row, but I don't care anything about that. These next 2 are for everything, and I'm not trying to sit there and not be prepared and leave no stone unturned.
And to be fair, you've won 2 in a row, but it's at teams that are eliminated from the playoffs, right? I mean, and I say that just in reality because what you have done to this point, things are going to be a lot harder, aren't they?
Absolutely. You got 2 very tough teams in West Texas, and then you also have Billings, who are in the playoff hunt. And you have to prepare for them. They're very well coached. They have supreme talent. They got great play at the quarterback positions. So this is not going to be easy. They got 2 good kickers that can put the ball on the net, kick field goals and extra points. So very balanced teams that we're getting ready to face, and we got to be ready for any and all. And the only way I know how to get ready is to just get to work. And all that other talking and all of that stuff don't mean anything to me, and it's more like tunnel vision at this moment. We got to win 2 games, and we got to put our best foot forward to do that. And the only way I know how to do it is put my hand to the grind and get on it.
So big picture here at AJ's in the Alley. It is the Coach O Show here as we talk Salina Liberty football. It is brought to you by Salina Medical Aesthetics. We have a full schedule tonight. Not only will we have Coach O, we will also have Freddie McGee.
Yes.
We will also have Sam Sellers for a small segment as well, as we will get some updates. Now, Sam's on his phone right now. The ownership's on their phone right now. There's a lot of things going on right now in the AFL. It just kind of seemed like things calmed down a little bit, and today we learned, and I can talk about this now, that the opponent that was scheduled to come in on Saturday, the West Texas Desert Hawks, have ceased operations that we know of, so they will not be here. The game scheduled for this Saturday, we'll have updates on that coming along. We might have an update before we go done with the show here tonight, but that's what we know of. Big picture, though, with your 5-2 record and your victory over Wichita on the road on Saturday, you were able to clinch a playoff spot. We know that you're in the show. You eliminated Wichita from the playoffs. What we found out last week was the playoff format is 5 teams.
Yep.
It'll be number 4 and number 5 on a play-in game the weekend after 4th of July. And then that team will get the number 1 seed, the number 2 and number 3 will play. We still have 2 weeks left in the regular season. A lot can go on. As you mentioned, just the game, regardless of what happens this weekend, just the game in 2 weeks with Billings is a big game. We also look at Albany's schedule. We look at Orlando's schedule. There's a lot of stuff that can happen. There's a lot of moving parts.
Yeah, and I think what's kind of settling right now is who's going to be in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. That's what's kind of developing right now. But there is no clear-cut favorite far as with the schedule that everyone has. There's no easy schedule of, this guy going to beat this guy going to beat this guy. I think it's going to come down to the wire. It's going to come down to the last games of next week and seeing who actually won and by how much. All of those different things are going to come variables into this, which you wouldn't have it any other way. That makes it exciting for all the teams that are involved in the playoffs, even the teams that are close of, a number 1 seed or maybe not even being in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. All of those things are still yet to be decided, and I think as a league that brings excitement to any and all of those fan bases.
After everything that's gone on with this league, and again, I said here and I will say it every week because it just seems like it is. Today was a little bit of a downer, I think, with West Texas, but the light still at the end of the tunnel and even turning the corner is super, super bright. And with everything that's gone on with this league, you look at what's happened in the last 5 days. Albany was out front. They were the only team without a loss, right? It's like, okay, it's Albany, it's the Firebirds, and then Orlando knocks them off. And then Billings is sitting there at number 2. You guys, though, are right behind Billings. You're looking forward to the rematch with them. And then, of course, Orlando's right in there. Southwest Kansas is right in there. You cut this league right now at 5 teams that will make the playoffs. It is razor thin between 5 and 1, isn't it?
Absolutely, and there is parity in this league. That's the thing that I do like about it. Some of the small market teams like Southwest Kansas and ourselves still right in the thick of things with the bigger market teams. So I mean that's credit to the ownerships of those our two organizations. It spells well for our coaches that making the adjustment and doing the things we do. And that's the thing that I'm the most proud about that nobody's talked about at all this year is I think it was kind of taken for granted that since we've been so successful playing a style of football, which is indoor football, that they kind of just took it for granted that we'll just make the adjustment, play arena football, and just be in the same spot. And it was not easy. As a coach that's never coached in any arena football game, Coach Martinez never coached in any arena football game. We just got Coach King 2-3 weeks ago that's coached in arena football games. To be sitting right now third, I think is a testament to our coaching staff that I even think sometimes even with our owners, they took it for granted. Like, it's just no, it was very, very hard. Yeah. It was very, very difficult. It took a lot of time. It takes a lot of time to learn how to coach a game in which you've never coached. And I just want to give a small shout-out to our coaching staff, mostly Coach Martinez because he's been here the whole time, and Coach King has come on the last 2 to 3 weeks. But Coach and I have been preparing for this since October, getting our stuff together, using all our resources, talking to, ex-coaches of the AFL that's been very successful using our social media to reach out to people that probably would have never been able to get a hold of to help us in this journey of learning this new game of arena football. Yes, I played 4 years of arena football, but I played DB and mostly defensive specialist. So everything else about arena football really wasn't all that keen and had any clue on. So I do thank all those coaches that took the time with us to do the different Zoom calls and things with us. You know, Frank Hagee is a guy that has won. He was the one team that I think they went 18-0 at Quad City in arena football.
19-0. I learned that last week with Coach King. Yes.
Yeah. So to have a guy like that, yes,
it's
and it's not easy, and to have him help us out, especially earlier on. Some of the coaches that's currently in this league, just talking different things. I just want to give this as their time to say thank you for all the help that they gave us. And yes, we put our own twist on it. We're still learning as we go. So I just want to shine a light on that has not been talked about by our owners, have not been talked about by our fans. None of our media has said anything about that transition, that learning curve, which has been steep and it's been hard. It's been very difficult, and it's a lot of time put in that. I just want to shed some light on that.
We talked about it on the broadcast. I mean, it's because I'm here with you every week, and I want to thank you because, man, I see your phone going off on days like today. You come in here, and it might be a little bit late, and you make me a little nervous, but I always know you're going to show up.
Oh, yeah.
And I always know that we're going to have to put the phone down about 30 seconds before we go on. Coach Martinez, he also has a perfect record at coaches' shows. Did you know that?
Yes.
He is also perfect record. So I can't appreciate you guys enough. But you're right. I mean, it's an evolution, right? And often sometimes the people that are out in front that are changing the path, sometimes you get, people raise eyebrows at you and you're like, oh, what are you doing? That's not the way we've always done it, which is the worst words ever in the world. But once you do it and you figure it out, then all of a sudden they're chasing you, which is the exciting thing.
Yeah, and it's just funny, it's a lot of things that we do that are very unconventional when it comes to arena football. Having a running back in there, going shotgun, doing the different things that we do, offense, defense, is unconventional. But the thing that I would like to say is I'm not just an arena football league coach. I'm a football coach. This is the 5th rule set that I've had to coach in, and I've won a championship in all of the other 4. So this is the 5th one that I'm looking forward, trying to figure out this whole thing as we go. Took on a different role that I didn't think I was going to have to do this year, which that was not an easy transition. That, again, I think our group here took for granted. Oh, you'll figure it out. Figuring it out took many, many hours, and it took a lot of time with my coaches to try to think different things out, and it's been very, very difficult to do that. But for all the naysayers that told us that we wasn't going to be anything in this league and we wasn't going to have enough to go against the big market teams, I'm thankful so far that we are doing what we need to do to at least be in playoff contention, and I hope we could continue on, get into the playoffs and do what we need to do there as well.
It also takes 8:30 meetings on Sunday mornings, right? I mean, that's what it takes. Can you imagine having this field that we have with Albany, Billings, Salina, Orlando, probably leaving somebody out in there, Southwest Kansas. Can you imagine having this field and being a league that says we're not going to have any playoffs, we're just going to go straight to a championship game? The fans will be cheated, first of all. I mean, I would feel like I'm cheated because this is going to be so much fun. And we don't know how this is going to end, of course, but that's how sports is. It's going to be a ton of fun to watch.
Right, and that's what it's all about. You don't want to just have whoever the two top you want to go through a playoff scenario where upsets can happen.
Oh, yeah.
Anytime you play a game in the playoffs, it's going to be a higher seed, it's going to be a lower seed. And that lower seed got just as much a chance as the higher seed. Last I talked, that's 50%. So that's why you want to have playoff games and not just one at the end of the season we just play. That's not what you want to do. You want to actually have, teams have to compete against everyone in the regular season to get the seed, and then you keep going throughout the playoffs to at least have a Final Four. That's what you at least want to do. So I'm glad that the commissioner found the way to make that happen. Jerry Kearns and those guys, Jeff Fisher, those guys doing what they do, Gary Compton. I'm loving the hires in which they've done. in this league in that front office. And I know I'm missing some of the guys, but just to get a chance to know Jeff Fisher for our brief conversation we had, just to see his ambition and what he's trying to do man-to-man on that field when we went down there to Nashville. And then knowing Gary, I played with him for 2-3 years in Milwaukee when I played arena ball in the early 2000s. Jerry Kearns, who I've known of, I don't know him, but known of for years. He was the commissioner of the A2, and I think he's also a lawyer as well. So to have people like that that's part of the front office is music to my ears, and it's bringing structure in which we gladly need it.
In that front office, we've talked a lot about Coach Fisher, but in that front office, they have built a team of people that know what they are doing. They know the sport. They have experience. They don't have a dog in the fight. They're looking out for the well-being of coast to coast. I'm excited about that. When I say the light at the tunnel is getting brighter and brighter, that's what I'm referring to. I mean, there are going to be things in the front office that happen once we get out of this season, especially looking forward to next year, that, man, it's exciting, isn't it?
Absolutely, because when you have people that know what they're doing and have skin in the game, meaning they were in the game at some point in some capacity, arena football, and it's a very unique sport. It's no other sport that's like it. So to have guys like we have now, and they're adding as we go. It seems like every 2 weeks they're bringing on somebody else that can help with this situation. I'm loving the direction in which it's headed. Yes, it's been some rocking of the boats and things of that nature, but the thing that I will say is, like you said, that light at the end of the tunnel is getting brighter because of the foresight of our leadership that's in that front office. And it also, none of this would be possible without great ownership groups, and I think that's what I'm so happy about that we have here in Salina. We have one of the best ownership groups in the league. They don't sit and complain about things that come up. They find solutions, and that's what people that I like to be around, they don't talk about people, they talk about solutions, and those are the type of people I like being around.
Give you an example of that. As much as we like people to watch us do the coaches show, there's people in the ownership group and GM Sam Sellers right now having a little powwow. They are looking ahead to the next step, right? I mean, there's something going on over there that they are finding solutions. We're off and running here. We still got to dive into this game in Wichita. 37-12 was the final score, and you've already mentioned a couple of different things I want to talk about when we come back. We'll take our first break. It is the Coach O Show as we talk Salina Liberty football here at AJ's in the Alley, downtown Salina. It's $2 Tuesday, and the Coach O Show is brought to you by Salina Medical Aesthetics. We'll be back after this.
It takes hard work, passion, and drive. It takes retraining your mind and your body. But once you do, you can't be stopped. Salina Regional Sports Medicine, here to get you back in the game.
Kansas Wesleyan is proud to be Salina's hometown university. KWU has become the place to be, with enrollment up more than 30% over the past 5 years. Salina supports KWU in many ways, including countless work experience and internship opportunities. We're proud to give back by supporting more than 40 great organizations throughout the region. We can't wait to see what's next for KWU and Salina as we work together to better our community.
Salina Medical Aesthetics wants to help you look and feel your best. Whether it's a simple aesthetic procedure like a hydrofacial, peel, injectable, filler, or a new skincare line, our professional team will customize a personalized plan just for you. Salina Medical Aesthetics is proud to feature Beautifil, a body sculpting procedure that will transform your body with gentle liposuction to slim one area while adding volume to another. Visit us online or call Salina Medical Aesthetics today to set up your free consultation.
When pests have become too much, it's time to call Hassman Termite and Pest Control. With staff having over 150 years of combined experience, we offer all services for structural pests: termites, ants, roaches, spiders, crickets, mice, and bed bugs. In our 60th year of our family serving yours, give us a call or visit us on the web at hassmantermite.com or see us on Facebook.
Back here on SalinaPost.com at AJ's in the Alley, downtown Salina, $2 Tuesday. A lot of fun over there on the other side. You guys have gotten to the point where the last couple shows, you kind of go over there and you do some bowling or whatever it is. I mean, you guys are over there having a great time. So Coach Ron O'Neill here, the first ballot Hall of Famer in the IFLs. We talk Liberty football. 37-12. Good victory for you on the road. As you said, anytime you go on the road, it is a challenge. But this Wichita team had some roster changes. They had some people that sometimes indoor football gets to be a really tight circle, right? And you had some people on there. Your former quarterback was on their team. He was on the roster. Also somebody that absolutely might have won a championship game in the CIF last year single-handedly. Draco Statham was in their secondary again. I mean, there were a lot of familiar names on this lineup. Daniel McKinney was on their roster, and he did awesome as always. What was your overall thoughts about this game and how you played?
I was happy with defensively, except for probably about 4 to 5 plays that we just cannot do. But defensively, I was extremely excited at what we've been able to continue to do pretty much year-round. Offensively, we still got some work in progress there. But I was happy with, like I said, McCullum doing what he's done. Jacory at receiver, DeWash at receiver, Tracy at running back, Rio at running back. I was very happy with our offensive line as well, what they were doing out there. McCoy is playing at an all-star level again, so very happy with him. Big Bruce out there doing his thing on the offensive line. So I was very, very excited with that. Tappa doing his thing. Tappa's come so far with everything that he's brought to the table, playing both sides of the ball, starting on both sides at various positions this year. Been one of our most versatile offensive linemen, and just his leadership and how he lead. It's with a California swag to it. I love it. You can see he's very much grew into that personality that he always had, but he's more vocal this year. And I'm just looking forward to continuing, these next couple games with him. And he's come a long way from 2 years ago to now, far as just as a person, as a player, and as a leader. So it's just you can see some leader things are transferring over some. And Tappa's a guy that don't get a lot of talk about, but Tappa has been very influential into the things that we're trying to do here. And he's been a model of how he did it the right way. He started off as a rookie. I think he started off in Tucson in the IFL. We got him from there. And he's gotten better and better and better each year. Got him from, a great company. Hidden Gems is another company that I use for ball players. So great agent that they have there and everything as well. So very, very thankful that he came back to us this year, and he's done really well for us as well. Like I said, Kellogg is doing his thing. Shy did his thing. Foster's been playing really well for us as well. Travis had another good game. He's starting to figure out his role with this team as well. And Freddie, like I said, Freddie's leading the league in interceptions, and Kellogg is leading the league in sacks. So when you got things like that's going on, and they each did what they always do, which is get a sack and get a pick. And for Freddie, you got a three-peat there. So that's pretty impressive of what he's doing back there in the secondary.
We'll talk more about Freddie McGee, and then we'll have him on here as this show goes along. Other than Freddie McGee, a couple other guys I want to talk about, and you touched on it in the open. A guy that has just skyrocketed up into one of the guys I am watching now almost every single play as we call the games is Jacory Sullivan. He had, I don't know if he even played an offensive play 2 weeks ago, but he had an impact on special teams. We talked about that. I know you were optimistic about him. You put him out there and played wide receiver for a lot of snaps in this game. My perspective, and you can tell me what you think because often I might not be right, but he is physical. He can lay a block. He put a couple of DBs in the ground. But then I see him go loose on that 48-yard play that you're talking about, which at this point in the game was a crucial point in the game. Yes. You guys were backed up and had a 3rd and long back at your own end zone. And Chuck let one fly, and there I look on the other end of it, and there's number 12. There's Jacory Sullivan. As you said, 4 or 5 steps on the defender, just waiting on it to land in the breadbasket and take it into the end zone. Man, he had a really good game.
Yep, and the thing about him is can't think of what player said it, but he said something to the effect of it made me fall in love with football again, because to see a young person, like, because he's a rookie in this indoor type, arena type stuff, that the passion in which he plays, the hunger in which he plays, the vigor in which he played with his soul, it inspires not just himself, it inspires this team, and they're gravitating to him, and he brings that he's a dog. You could see he's he's an alpha, and he's bidding his time to show the world what he brings to the table. I mean, that's a receiver that played in the USFL or the XFL, supremely talented. But the thing I didn't know, I knew all of those things receiver-wise. Didn't know how he was how he's going to block. Didn't know how he was going to play special teams and dominate on special teams. Very, very excited about his future, and I think you'll see more and more of him as the season continue to grow. It's a young guy that I remember when Coach Martinez was recruiting him, had some car issues or whatever, and we was like, well, we're going to take the opportunity away from you. When Coach Martinez said that, oh, no, I'm coming, I'm going to get it here, and he was here within 8 hours, 10 hours or something, and so thankful that he did take the opportunity to come up here, because he was down there with New Orleans, and it didn't go so hot for him, so he kind of had a bad taste with it. Okay. So I'm glad that he did see an opportunity here, and he took full advantage of that opportunity, and I think his future is very, very bright for him. Yeah,
the first offensive play you had was a little kind of end-around sweep to Otis Odom, and he buried the defensive back on that side. It made things real easy on Otis on that play. But you go through the whole first quarter here, though. It's 9-0, your lead at the end of the first quarter. There's no offensive points in this game. It is a sack by Henry Kellogg. It was almost a repeat of last week. It was a sack by Kellogg, a fumble recovery by Travis Taylor, into the end zone. You get a touchdown. Then you add on the extra point by Aiden Johnson, and then Aiden goes ahead and gets the deuce off the kickoff, and you're up 9-0 right out of the gate. And now we're sitting there looking, okay, now we're watching this guy. This is something you wanted. Every kick went off the net. Every kick was a threat to score. He had another one that I don't know if it was a pool noodle or what it was as a crossbar, but it hit that and then went all flimsy. He about got two of them in this game. But you could just see how comfortable he was for a first-time kicker. I'm watching him and Jamario Benson, who's holding for him in pregame, and he's adjusting Jamario, telling Mario what he wants, how to put the ball down, things like that. And they just automatically went out in the game, and you could have sat there and thought they'd been playing together their whole lives. They looked that comfortable. Talk about Aiden Johnson.
And, I mean, he's a guy who he didn't even practice with us.
You're getting him a physical on Friday, right?
Yeah, so, I mean, it was a guy that, yes, Coach King told us about. I think he had one indoor game with him, and then he went and kicked in for San Diego in the IFL. He was telling me about him for a while, and finally, I got around to it after I kind of went through our whole Rolodex of players and things of that nature. It's like, hey, this is opportunity. Can he be here? And within 24 to 48 hours, he got here. Wow. I don't know how he did it, but, I mean, he's a guy that's very determined. He's a very talented kicker. To have that aspect in which we've been trying to get, for basically this whole year. And we've had good kicking game. But I'm not looking just to be good in the kicking game. I'm looking to be great in it. And I think he gives us that aspect because if you hit the net, anything can go. If you can hit deuces, that helps the football team. You're scoring on kickoff. That is what I've been looking for in an arena game. It's very much important that you have a kicker that can do that. Now we filled that hole. He's a guy that works his butt off. Today, we didn't even kick today at practice, and he still went out there and worked on his craft and did the different things. And he was even willing to play some DB in practice today until Coach Martinez came in and said, no, I'm a DB. I play DB, so get out my way. Let me show you how this is done. So we had a very
– You were Martinez.
No, Coach Martinez played DB. So he kicked him off the field. He took his hat off, and Coach Martinez played DB for us.
He's still not losing reps, is he?
No, I mean – Coach ain't gonna lose no reps. I mean, I think he ran 4 miles before practice.
Yeah.
He actually practiced. Then I think after practice, before he went to meet his niece or his cousin, he got another workout in. So, I mean, like I said, he's the most in shape person we have on our team, and he suited up today. He did his thing at corner. I got to give him credit on that.
People will show up early and they'll see Coach out there running.
Yes.
And I'll tell them, I'll be like, he went over and parked in Abilene and ran to the game, too. I mean, that's what he does. I know I've had a lot of questions, and I know people are curious about the quarterback position. You bring in Andrew Jackson. He got the start. Then you went back to Chuck McCollum. Jamario Benson, also that guy that's capable, but Mario was more of a kind of Swiss Army knife is what I'm calling him on this team because he's the holder. He can play anywhere you want. Had some really good runs at the end of the game. Speak about your quarterback spot and where you think you are right now and the evaluation of how McCollum played when he came in because he was pretty good.
Yeah, he did. The thing that I like about McCollum is contrary to some of the things that's been said about him, I think it's been pretty unfair. Chuck is a guy that he don't care about all that other stuff. What he care about is football. And that's what I'm finding out very clearly. He could have took this situation and been a butt about it, but he wasn't. He actually took it, and he took it as an opportunity to showcase what he can do. Some players, especially of his magnitude, definitely would have handled that wrong. But the thing I can say about him, he's a pro's pro. He came and he put his work in. He worked hard. He didn't even take a rep really on Thursday practice or Friday practice. He never complained. He stayed engaged with his team. He did the things that he needed to do to be prepared if and when his number was called upon. A pro's pro. So hats off to McCollum for handling it like a true G. So I was definitely happy with what he's doing. Drew, he struggled a little bit, a little rust. Coming back from, pretty much a year-and-a-half layoff. Some things and it's a new game on top of that. So I think it was a learning curve that we're going to have to continue to work with him and figure all of these different things out. But I like our quarterback situation at this moment. They're both healthy. They both have good arms. They're both very intelligent. I think it's a great quarterback room that we have.
Also, correct me if I'm wrong about McCollum, but the injury that he suffered in Dodge City, he could have easily taken a couple weeks off because it wasn't a scratch. I mean, it was, he could have been in street clothes for a couple weeks setting it out, but next week he suited up here at TPAC.
Yes, and that's what I say about him. He's a very tough individual. Like you said, that injury for most is probably going to keep him out at least 3 weeks. He didn't miss a week. He worked, he rehabbed, got his body back right. And I'm just so thankful that dog, we call it in Chicago that scrappy dog, what you have inside of you, something that you're not, you don't acquire, you're born with, he has that. Growing up there in Atlanta, Georgia, you can see what made him the great quarterback he's been in the past and what he is as a great quarterback now. And the things that he do in practice, the work he does, the pre-practice work he do, the work he do with his receivers, how he has the relationships with everybody on his team. I mean, he's a practical joker. He talk a lot of mess. But I like that. I like quarterbacks that have personality, and he definitely has a bunch of that.
Flirting with the fan questions that we're going to have this week, I will just ask you this right now because I feel like we're at the crucial part of the season, 2 regular season weekends left, and then you're going to go into the playoffs, possibly a bye week there for you on the weekend after 4th of July. So this season we know is going to go into the middle of July. So we're not even close to being done yet. About a month probably left in the season. What's on your mind right now? Where do you think this team is, and what are a couple things that are really kind of flashing red right now that you need to get better at?
Well, I mean, offensively is where it's flashing red. I mean, that's not a secret. We're a team that has a lot of talent, just haven't put it together. And, again, that's on me. That's not on the individual players or anything like that. I have to do, again, a better job offensive coordinating and figuring out ways to put points on the board. So I put that on me. And it's the first time that I've done it in this rule set. So it's taken me some time to try to figure some different things out. I'm learning each and every day. All I say is just bear with us, Liberty Nation. Eventually we'll figure that thing out because I know we have the right personnel. We just got to get better. Well, I have to get better as a coach to help them out. And special teams is a thing that, I put on Coach King's table as far as kick return. And since he's been here, each week it's gotten better. And I just think when you have a coach of that magnitude on that side of the ball and what he did as a kick returner, bringing these different things and aspects to our team has done nothing but help us. So I'm very excited about how that's going to continue, hopefully continue to get better each and every week. Our kickoff team has been pretty solid all year. Very excited about Aiden at kicking the ball off for us, as well as our field goals and extra points. Coach has done a yeoman's job, Coach Martinez, of if we didn't have great special teams, we wouldn't be in a lot of football games. So that is the strength of this team. And for the first time, having him as my basically special teams coordinator, he's assistant head coach still, but in a different capacity. He's showing his range and versatility of being a coach. Like I said, Coach and I, we're not just arena football coaches, and we've only been successful doing arena football. We've been successful in any rule set you want to put, and we've been successful in doing it. A lot of coaches can't say that. Mm-hmm. So I'm very happy with the productivity of our coaching staff and how it's kind of forming, and how we hang out off the field is something that's different too. So we're coming together. I'm loving the camaraderie in which we have with one another. We could kid on each other and nobody gets sensitive. That's how you know you're a pretty tight-knit coaching staff. They get on me. We get on Coach King, get on Coach Martinez. We get on players. They get on our butt. So it's part of the deal. But I'm liking in which how we're forming. A lot of hard work is going into it, and it's going to take a lot of hard work to continue to be successful in this league.
37-12, you get the victory. It's your 5th win of the season. 5-2, you clinch a playoff berth now into the tournament, as they say, and you will look ahead now to see what's going on this Saturday at Tony's Pizza Event Center, scheduled to have a home game. A couple of fan questions for you, and I will challenge fans. You got to be more creative. I mean, because some of these questions, I'm the one that gets to ask the dumb questions and those questions. Got to be a little more creative if you want to win some tickets to the next home game. So I picked 2. Okay. We know both these people. The first one I'm going to have you take with a grain of salt because I feel like he's fishing for a compliment. And this comes from a wide receiver that had one of the best single seasons ever in Salina Liberty football as a wide receiver. And that's somebody who says, who's the funniest person you ever coached? Is it Tuff, Malley, or Pargo? I think you know maybe who this question's coming from, as I say wide receiver and Pargo.
Yeah, I mean,
it may be none of the three. It may be somebody you have right now.
A lot of guys that's been pretty crazy, pretty funny. If I'm just going with this year, I would say Frank, that played with us earlier on, is probably the funniest guy that we had this year. But all time,
that's
funniest
tough,
guy.
We may have to shelf that till next week.
Yeah, because Tuff was a absolute clown. I'm not gonna lie about that. And all time, some of the things he would do, you just sit, what are you doing? So, Autry's another one that he was a clown as well. I mean, that one. I would say a better question would be like, hey, give me your top 5 funny guys, because it's not one that's just going to just sit out there and be that.
Yeah.
Because I had a bunch of them. Like Pargo was a clown. I mean, we had all kind of people like Pargo, Tuff, Gaddafi, Artavius. One of my offensive linemen was a absolute clown. Robert Reed was an absolute clown that I've had in my 19 years. Eby was another one that was very clever in his wordplay. So it's a lot. I would definitely say it's a lot. I can't name just one, but it's a bunch of them. Rio, too. I know he's a clown, too. I'm getting to know his personality as we ride on the away games. I'm getting to see Rio in real time now to figure out what he's doing and some of the jabs he do. He's very clever with what he brings up. So the only thing we got to get him to understand is Kendrick Lamar won that rap battle and it wasn't Drake. Or is that Freddie? So you need to ask Freddie that question of who won that rap battle, because me and Rio thinks it was Kendrick. I think he's still on that Drake bandwagon, but I'm thinking that me and Rio are correct on that.
I'll ask. All right, the next one comes from your boy Frank in Dodge. Says, after making the championship game the last couple of years in the CIF, how do you prepare for the playoffs in a different, more competitive league that has new teams in it for the most part. I mean, Billings is still here, Southwest Kansas is still here, but there's Albany, there's Nashville, there's who else? Orlando. Yeah, I mean it's a
lot of teams.
I think the biggest thing about this is the step up in competition and talent, right? I mean, even with Wichita, you look at their record; they came out of the loss 1-5, but we walk away from there saying,
tough football team.
Yeah, that's it. They're the razor's edge thin right there. So how do you prepare this team, because you're in the home stretch now?
Yeah, the only thing you could do is go one game at a time. You can't worry about the bigger picture at this moment until everything is officially said you're in the playoffs, because you can't be voted prom king if you're not invited to the prom. So I'm not going to put the carrots before the horse. I want to wait officially until we see for sure what is being said of if we're in the playoffs or not. I'm not going to be premature on that. I'm going to go to work tomorrow. It's our day off, but I'm going to still be working and doing the things we need to do and fielding all the phone calls and texts that I have to make the best decisions to, one, try to get this roster exactly the way we want it, try to get our scheme exactly adjusted to what we have as players, is what I would say is the things that I would prepare. But as far as preparing different, I would never prepare different. I always prepare the same, and just putting our best foot forward and not worry about the outside noise and worry about all of this other stuff. Have that tunnel vision of one game at a time, one day at a time, and figure out what you need to do there.
Okay, next guest coming up, Freddie McGee. 5 interceptions in the last 2 games. He had 3 at Wichita. He had 2 here at Tony's Pizza Event Center in our last home game here against Washington. What can you tell me about Freddie?
Other than he's the best defensive back in this league, bar none. His numbers say that. He's the leading interceptor in this league, and I guarantee he's top 2 or 3 in PBUs as well. I'm guaranteeing that he's one of he's given up the fewest touchdowns for as much man-to-man motion that I put in his stable. He don't cry, he don't whine. When he does something that's not always the way, he's a perfectionist. You know already before, you don't even have to coach this guy. He's a pro's pro, and I just remember the first day recruiting him, and I showed him Cleveland, which is one of the best DBs to ever play for San Jose. Coach Arbette coached him. Coach Cedric Walker, I think, coached him as well. They won championships together with him. He's a guy, different style of player, but the productivity in which Freddie brings is very similar. He's a guy that he's going to break a lot of teams' heart to think they can get something over on him. He's gotten picks against every team except for one that we played this year. He's got a pick in every single game. So he's a guy that is extremely smart. He watches film. He's extremely tough. He's not just a cover guy. He comes up and supports his flank as well. He plays on every special team. Again, never complains about anything. And the thing I love about him is he comes to practice, like Coach Martinez say, with a plan. And I know Coach Martinez raves about him. That's his defensive back coach as well. As you see, Martinez wears a lot of different hats for us. But that's his star pupil. And it's just been great to see him develop. And when I recruited him, he was like, I got sticky cover. That's what I do. And he was like, you won't be disappointed. Mm-hmm. And I have not been disappointed with him, not one iota. And he's garnering the attention of the upper leagues. I mean, I'm looking, UFL, CFL, NFL. They need to, once this season is done, hopefully we can keep him for these next 3 to 4 weeks if we're lucky enough to make the playoffs and do what we do. But he's a guy that deserves his opportunity to play at the next level. He's done the hard work. He put up the stats. He has the film. Now we're just looking for some personnel people to take an opportunity on him because he is a dog.
Cannot give him a better intro than that. We will take a break. When we come back, Freddie McGee will be sitting in the chair. Coach O will leave and make room for his defensive back after a 37-12 victory over Wichita. 5-2 now on the season. Coach, best of luck to you. Whatever happens this weekend, of course, we'll have all the updates and everything for Saturday on what is scheduled for Tony's Pizza Event Center this Saturday. We will have all those for you, but I'm sure we will see you somewhere this weekend, right?
Yes, definitely so.
All right, have a great week. The rest of your week, we'll see you Saturday. Freddie McGee coming up next on the Coach O Show here on Salina Post.
When pests have become too much, It's time to call Hassman Termite and Pest Control. With staff having over 150 years of combined experience, we offer all services for structural pests: termites, ants, roaches, spiders, crickets, mice, and bed bugs. In our 60th year of our family serving yours, give us a call or visit us on the web at hassmantermite.com or see us on Facebook.
For over 30 years, Ryan Roofing has been the area's leader in commercial roofing installation. Over 10 million square feet of Durolast roofing. Now, Ryan Roofing is expanding their expertise to the residential properties to better serve you and your home. Shingles, windows, siding, and gutters. Call Ryan Roofing in Salina today for a free roof assessment and get the expert advice you need. Ryan Roofing, serving commercial businesses in the area for over 30 years and now working for you on your residential property.
Spring cleaning time! A wonderful time of the year. Winter is over and hope springs eternal. You have the windows open. The birds are singing and you can't help but notice that smell! That awful smell! What is that? That is your septic system backing up into your home, making spring flowers smell, well, like, a friendly reminder from Salina Septic Service. If you haven't had your septic system pumped out and cleaned in the last 3 years, you are asking for trouble. Salina Septic Service. You better call today.
Salina Medical Aesthetics wants to help you look and feel your best. Whether it's a simple aesthetic procedure like a hydrofacial, peel, injectable, filler, or a new skincare line, our professional team will customize a personalized plan just for you. Salina Medical Aesthetics is proud to feature Beautifil, a body sculpting procedure that will transform your body with gentle liposuction to slim one area while adding volume to another. Visit us online or call Salina Medical Aesthetics today to set up your free consultation.
Welcome back to the Coach O Show. We're at AJ's in the Alley, downtown Salina. Every Tuesday, it's buy one, get one free pizzas. You can go anywhere from a 6-inch all the way up to the big boy, 29 inches. We're going to talk to Sam Sellers coming up in segment 3. But right now, we have what is the interception leader in the AFL. How's that feel when I say that, huh? 5 interceptions in the last 2 games. 3 against Wichita, 2 back here at home against Washington a week ago. Freddie McGee, man, you've been on a tear lately, bud. How's it going?
I'm blessed, man. That's all I can say. Yes,
it's man, you're such a blast to watch, and I can't give you a better introduction than what Coach O just gave you. Obviously, he feels really good about you, and coming from a coach that is also a defensive back and doing what he's done, how does that make you feel when your head coach speaks about you like that?
You know, it's one thing to have a head coach that played at the pinnacle of football in the NFL, and then there's one thing to have a coach that played my position. So to hear him say that stuff about me, man, I take it for what it's worth. Even in practice when he critiques me, I know that, I got to be a sponge and soak it all in because he's been there where I'm trying to get to. So it means a lot.
Other than the whole Western Michigan thing, he gives you a lot of static about that. He didn't say anything tonight, though, did he?
Yeah, he can't, man. I actually came in here in my Eastern gear on purpose, man. But, I give him a lot of stuff. Sometimes during practice, I have my gloves. They have the black E on them. And I just look over like, Coach, you like my gloves? Just to pick with him a little bit. But, a little friendly competition.
So let's get to know you a little bit. You grew up, obviously went to Eastern Michigan, but you were a guy from Michigan originally. Canton, Michigan, I understand, your hometown, Salem High School. Talk about high school. And, man, I did a little bit of research. I don't like to do a whole lot because I just like talking to you guys sometimes. But, man, you were football. You did the trifecta, right? Football, basketball, all state in both of those. You qualified in state for track. What was your favorite in high school?
I'd have to say football.
Yeah.
I was the best at football, but surprisingly, basketball I had the most fun with. My mom actually played basketball in college at Eastern Michigan.
Yeah.
My dad played football at Eastern Michigan, so got an athletic family. So they always told me just to stay in as many sports as possible.
Did you have any decisions coming down the pipe when you're getting ready to finish high school? Were you kind of pulled in some different directions as far as sport or even school, or was it always Eastern Michigan? You were going to go be an Eagle, right?
Yeah, it's actually funny. I was actually going to go to Western Michigan.
Okay.
Coach O's alma mater.
Does he know that?
I don't think he knows. I don't think we talked about that. But I had an academic scholarship going to Eastern, and I actually walked on athletically. So my parents thought it was the best idea to take the money, and that's what I did. And I walked onto the team at Eastern, and, the rest was history.
So you mentioned it, and I don't know if Coach O knows this about you, mom and dad both kind of paved the way for you. They were both at Eastern Michigan, right? And both
Yes, sir.
athletically.
Yes, sir. Yeah, my dad, he played football and ran track at Eastern, and my mom played basketball. So it's kind of like I was born to be an Eagle, I guess.
Yeah. So you go to Eastern Michigan. I always love talking about the college experience because it's different for everybody. Everybody learns so much, and we kind of evolve as humans. You were all conference, all MAC at Eastern Michigan. And how was the college experience for you?
It was cool. It was cool. Coming in as a walk-on, I kind of knew I had to have a chip on my shoulder. A lot of those guys, they had scholarships coming out of high school. So, I just knew I had to, start from the bottom, just kind of put my head down and just work my way up. And that's what I did, man. I never had a problem doing that. Just, try to do everything the right way. And I knew, everything would fall into place.
So the end of college rolls around. It's always kind of an abrupt ending sometimes athletically for a lot of people because we always know the number one. It's 1% that's going to go on and play professionally. What was it like at the end of college for you and decision-making there?
I knew that after my last game, I wanted to pursue the NFL. And I knew that my Coach Creighton always said that everybody that comes through Eastern always had a chance to play in the NFL, and that would be the pro day. So after my last game, I trained for those 3 months for pro day. I did pretty well at my pro day, and drew a couple scouts' attention, but ultimately didn't hear anything on draft day. So it was kind of a disappointing situation, but I stuck with it, and here I am, got some opportunities later on down the road.
What attracted you to indoor football? It's a special game, and I don't think people really know it unless they've been around it. It's a different game. I mean, people sit there and they say, well, it's just football, but it's not. I mean, it takes a special individual to play this game.
Right. Opportunity, man. Like I said, coming out of college, that after my pro day, I sat down that whole fall of 2022, and I got an opportunity last year in the IFL with the Iowa Barnstormers, and I really didn't know much about indoor football. So, my first game, I was like, wow, this is intense. But I picked it up, man. Everything happens a lot faster. You know what I'm saying? You kind of got to alter the way you play a little bit because it's an offensive game. Everything happens faster, like I just said. And, I'm loving it, though, man. It's definitely, you got to really hone in on your technique and make sure your eyes are right and make sure you're disciplined. And, the small stuff matters because everything's right there.
Curious to ask you because you've played both. You see online, you see some of the chatter, some of the chat rooms, and people will say that, well, the IFL is far and away better, the AFL is far and away better. What's your comparison since you've had experience in the IFL and almost a full season now in the AFL? How would you compare the two? Is it just so thin, or are they actually miles apart?
Honestly, me personally, I don't think they're that far apart. Obviously, the IFL with the too high motion, that was kind of trickier for me. Just two guys running at the same time. You know, a lot of combo, a lot of switching. But AFL, man, I feel like it's more one-on-one. And I'm loving it. I feel like playing in the IFL last year kind of slowed the game down to play with the one high motion in the AFL. So I'll just put it like that.
Fair enough. So when you look at Salina, you get the call right now. I always love asking this question, too, because we know Martinez and how Coach can be. And when you get the call, the first thing going through your head's probably where is Salina, right? Sure. And then you find out it's in the middle of America. What attracted you here? And because obviously you had options. You could play a lot of different places. What made you come to the Liberty?
Coach O, man. First off, his resume. Like you said, I think it was 63 guys that he moved up to the next level from arena. And ultimately, that's my goal, to try to keep moving up and keep climbing the ladder. And, he told me his resume, and he just told me a little bit about Salina and, just the people and the ownership group. And, I took it for what it's worth, man. It seemed like it would be like home. He seemed very welcoming with that first conversation. And sure enough, I got here, and, everything was exactly what he said it would be.
This defense is on a tear. 19 points you've allowed in the last 2 games, which is insane for indoor football. You've had 5 interceptions. You've had guys like Henry Kellogg, Travis Taylor up front that have just kind of put their own Sac Nation on the map, so to speak. Right. Where do you see this team going? I mean, what's ultimate goal is obviously to lift that trophy, but where do you feel like you're at right now defensively?
Defensively, man, I feel like, we've had a good last couple games, but one thing about us, we'll never be complacent, We'll watch the film, learn from it. It's not always all good as it seems, what I mean? We come back to film the next day and see, we got to tighten up here. So, we can go as far as we want to. And I like to say we play complementary football. D-line does their thing. the Jacks and the Mikes, they do their thing, and then the secondary does their thing. So we all feed off each other, man. If things aren't going the best, we all pick each other up, and we're always looking for ways to get better.
What's your favorite thing about Salina so far?
Ooh, my favorite thing about Salina, that water park, man.
Yeah.
I go there probably like twice a week. Just sit back in the lazy river, just chill, especially after the game day.
Therapy, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, a little therapy. So it's cool. Those water slides are pretty fast too.
Yeah.
Kind of scary. So yeah, the water parks, man, and I just love the people in Salina, man.
Yeah.
This is obviously a lot slower paced than what I'm used to, being from Metro Detroit, but the people are welcoming, everybody's nice, they'll greet you, and I like, they recognize us in the community, so, I'm glad to be here.
So, Lions fan? I got to ask that.
Lions fan. I was a little upset at how the season ended last year, but we'll be back.
You got to be feeling good, though, right? I mean, that was a fun season for Lions fans.
Oh, yeah. Lions, the whole state of Michigan was lit last year, man.
Yeah.
With Michigan winning the Natty and then the Lions going as far as they did, man. It was cool. I missed the draft. The draft was out there this year, so I was out here during the season, but I was looking on my social media, everybody was outside. So,
oh man,
the whole state of Michigan is pretty lit right now.
It's fun times like that. Even Kansas City, they were horrible at football for just seemed like forever. Right. And now, of course, things are going well. The Lions are fun to watch. They're probably my favorite team in the NFC right now to keep an eye on, just because everything seems like it's so much fun right now for that crowd.
Oh, yeah. And they're getting everybody back, too, for the most part. So I'm excited.
Coach O told me to close our interview out like this. He wanted to ask you about that rap battle because he said you guys are butting heads on who won a rap battle here. So he said maybe was he Kendrick or?
Him and my boy Rio were talking about their team Kendrick. I'm not going to speak too much on that right now, but I can say Drake is my GOAT.
Yeah.
I'm a Drake fan. Okay. That's my GOAT. But I'm not going to speak too much on the beef. Y'all can go listen to all the songs that played into it, and y'all tell me what y'all think. But I'm a Drake fan, so they're giving me some stuff about it.
Freddie, a pleasure meeting you.
Thank
we'll be
man.
talking more as time goes on. Of course, we'll be rooting for you, too. Hopefully we get a game in here on Saturday, and we can see you get another couple interceptions and add that to your total as you league the lead as well, right?
Yes,
so Freddie McGee, he is our player profile here, brought to you by Precision Electric as the Coach O Show moves on. We'll have a brief segment here with GM Sam Sellers to round things out, get an update on what's going on and what he knows right now as we have the Coach O Show here at AJ's in the Alley. It's downtown Salina right here on Salina Post.
Spring cleaning time! A wonderful time of the year. Winter is over and hope springs eternal. You have the windows open. The birds are singing and you can't help but notice that smell! That awful smell! What is that? That is your septic system backing up into your home, making spring flowers smell, well, like a friendly reminder from Salina Septic Service. If you haven't had your septic system pumped out and cleaned in the last 3 years, you are asking for trouble. Salina Septic Service. You better call today.
Kansas Wesleyan is proud to be Salina's hometown university. KWU has become the place to be with enrollment up more than 30% over the past 5 years. Salina supports KWU in many ways, including countless work experience and internship opportunities. We're proud to give back by supporting more than 40 great organizations throughout the region. We can't wait to see what's next for KWU and Salina as we work together to better our community.
For over 30 years, Ryan Roofing has been the area's leader in commercial roofing installation. Over 10 million square feet of Durolast roofing. Now, Ryan Roofing is expanding their expertise to the residential properties to better serve you and your home. Shingles, windows, siding, and gutters. Call Ryan Roofing in Salina today for a free roof assessment and get the expert advice you need. Ryan Roofing, serving commercial businesses in the area for over 30 years and now working for you on your residential property.
It takes hard work, passion, and drive. It takes retraining your mind and your body. But once you do, you can't be stopped. Salina Regional Sports Medicine, here to get you back in the game.
Segment 3 of the Coach Ron O'Neill shows. We talk Salina Liberty football here at AJ's in the Alley, downtown Salina. It's brought to you by Salina Medical Aesthetics, who has extended their spring into special sale, 20% off skincare, vitamin C products to protect your skin during the summer elements. And we've had some of those here lately, about 100 degrees. So see Salina Medical Aesthetics. They're a proud supporter of Salina Liberty football. As we talk to Salina Liberty General Manager Sam Sellers. And boy, Sam, first of all, I just got to lead out. Man, how are things going? It's been a challenge, hasn't it, as far as just kind of the league and what's going on, but you're one of the guys that's helping keep the ship stable. We just found out here really an hour probably before the coaches show that West Texas is not going to be able to finish their season, so now things are flexing and we're leaving possibilities open for Saturday, right?
Yeah, and obviously things are very fluid right now, but right now we're trending to probably having an opponent for Saturday. The league has been working very hard for us, which we appreciate greatly. But what a season to get baptized by fire. They really broke the rookie in good here. But no, I mean today was definitely one of those days where you spend absurd amount of time on the phone with all kinds of different things going on, and poor Dan's trying to work his normal job, and he would call me and 2 minutes later say, Dan, I got to go, I got to answer this one, and then try to get back with him. So it was a day, but I mean, unfortunately, I think today was kind of a sucker punch a little bit, just because we've been feeling really good about the direction that we've been going. Obviously, it was not good at the beginning, but things happen, and that's what I love about our ownership group and our coaches. And I mean, we just kind of worry about us and do the best we can under the circumstances. And it's for a rookie like me coming into this, I couldn't imagine navigating this season without the ownership group and Coach O and Coach Martinez and now Coach King and Coach Flax is still there whenever I need him.
Yeah.
But it's definitely been an interesting 5 months.
Coach O and I talked about that a little bit. It is definitely a group effort, and him and I were laughing a little bit because we look over there and ownership group, and you guys are you got your phones out and you're going to work, and I'll borrow a couple of minutes from you here. But a longtime high school coach here in town, Salina South, and did you ever picture kind of 5 years ago if I told you were going to be the GM of the Salina Liberty? Did you ever see that coming down the pike? That's just kind of it's a weird deal, isn't it? But man, you do such a good job with it.
I don't know about that. But when I got a call from Dan that wanted to sit down and talk about it, even then I was like, no, I'm not really interested. But I've known Dan and Linda a long time and Coach Flax a long time, and thought I at least owed them to sit down and have a conversation about it. And it was a very good conversation. But I didn't envision this, but I mean, I kind of like that too, though. Like this has been such a different, challenge, and it's been so good for my personal growth, and I loved what I coaching high school football, but when you do it for so long, and not that I'm a big believer in you're always getting better, and you're always trying to push yourself and learn and do those things. But when you have done it for so long, it's hard to take big steps forward. And there's been plenty of opportunity for that this spring in this role for me. And I mean, there's definitely days where I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm terrible at this. But then days that. It's funny. Lindsay, my wife, and I always joke, like every time I'm kind of like, all right, I think I'm starting to figure this out. And then something like today happens.
Right.
And it's like, okay, this is new, and we got to deal with it. But no, it's been great for me personally. Enjoyed it, and working with professional athletes, and it's been a really fun, 5 hour long months.
indoor football is a lot like the weather. I mean, it's going to change regardless of what's going on. So you always have to adapt. You always have to keep moving. You're a football guy. How much of the coach in you just continues and maybe comes out? How much are you able to contribute to some of these guys, and how much are you learning from these guys? Because I find myself all the time when I have conversations with Freddie McGee, for example, I always learn something, right? And it's something that I know you're able to give them knowledge. You're probably learning something from them. How much give and take do you have with them as far as the practice arena goes?
Yeah, and I've probably been overly cautious a little bit this year as far as not blurring that line between GM and coach, and although that's something they really pushed at first, wanted me to do, and then we decided let's not do that, and then some other circumstances happened early in training camp that I did have to take on a little bit bigger role. And number one, football's football, but arena football is different.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of been really good for me in a way that, we're doing all the off the field stuff that is a lot of personal growth, but you still have that coach in you. And so I've been able, here and there to kind of do some things. And, I came home so excited one day because we were talking in the back as coaches and got to get on the whiteboard a little bit and throw some ideas out. And again, I kind of try to tread lightly there. And I mean, Coach O is, unbelievable coach. But he's been great to me because he lets me scratch that itch every once in a while.
Yeah.
But being around these guys, people ask me, what's big differences, and one of the biggest difference, and I'm not bad-mouthing high school kids because as a high school kid I was the same way, but you go to a high school practice and any talking that's going on, by players in line or not, in that team period that are waiting to take their turn, most of that talking is not about football. It's what happened at school that day or something. And where, around these guys, it is 100% football all the time.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of fun. And like you said, it's so fun to watch them coach each other. We have a great mix of veterans and young guys here. We just brought in a running back this weekend that, is fresh out of college and has zero experience. His first arena game he's ever seen in his life happened Saturday night.
Yeah.
I picked him up in Wichita at 4:30, and we went straight to the arena, and
wow.
he went down on the bench and watched the game from the bench. But I was talking to him on our drive, and he said, what an incredible opportunity you have to learn from a Tracy Brooks, and guy in your same position, and it's fun even today at practice. It's not just Tracy giving him everything. He's kind of, coming back and forth a little bit about, hey, what do you think about this? And it's a lot of fun just being completely immersed in just guys that are just 100% about football all the time. And like you said, like you learned too, little things here and there that these guys have done for some of these guys have done it for a long, long time.
Productive communication is what.
Well, football-wise, productive, yes.
Yeah. But during high school, it's a little different. I get what you're saying there. So you got to discourage that while you're practicing. So we'll leave it at this, right? We're figuring out Saturday. There's a lot of moving parts right now. I know the easy kind of resolution for everybody, and I've heard this a couple times just checking text during breaks is, well, Nashville has a bye week. They should come here. We went there. But the problem with Nashville having a scheduled bye week is those players have dispersed, and now getting them all back together. So that's a challenge. It's just not automatic that that's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, and that was my first thought as well. Well, who has the bye this week? And then, Nashville let their guys go home, or if they wanted to, go home Sunday. So you got them all over the country. I mean, if we did the same thing, trying to get them back together and then to Salina.
You're like herding
logistically, that's a tall order, especially in just 3 days, and then, practice and it's kind of like, are we able to, is it worth it? In multiple ways, financially and on the football field. But no, I think we should have an answer, if not late tonight, in the morning, and we'll let everybody know what's going on. And like I said, I if you held a gun to my head right now, I would say I'm going to guess we're going to play a game Saturday night.
So Facebook, Salina Liberty, Instagram, Salina Liberty. We'll also pass the information along on SalinaPost.com on the sports section and let everybody know kind of what to plan for this weekend. So we will pause and we will wait on that information. I'll also tease you a little bit too, because I've heard some rumors about some things that are in the works for the Billings game coming up next Saturday that are very, very exciting that we'll probably release here on the Coaches Show next week. So we will talk about that. Not only is it an exciting opponent with the Outlaws coming to town and a chance to return that game with them, but also some extracurricular stuff too surrounding around that game, where it being the last regular season game of the AFL season for the Salina Liberty, and a chance to see kind of finalize the playoff spots too.
It's a big game.
It is a huge game.
Implications.
So many things can happen in the last 2 weeks. Of course, we'll keep you all updated with social media with Salina Liberty and also SalinaPost.com. Great show here, of course, Coach O, also Freddie McGee, Sam Sellers. I want to thank you for joining us here. We'll get together again soon sometime as we talk Salina Liberty football. That does it for another Coach O show. It's brought to you by Salina Medical Aesthetics. We'll talk to you again next Tuesday. We invite you to come down, get a buy one, get one free pizza, or take advantage of $2 Tuesdays over on the Family Fun side as we do it again next Tuesday at 6 o'clock right here at AJ's in the Alley on Salina Post.